What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here with Dilly Vanilli. We are here to preview the Cincinnati Bengals, a team finally that made some moves in terms of their head coach, in terms of the direction of this franchise. Zac Taylor, the new head coach, a guy that has basically no history of proving anything, which leaves the slate wide open for Bengals fans to believe and for us to speculate. Dilly Vanilli, there are a lot of people that on one side believe that this team has a lot of potential, but then on the other side, they just don't believe that they can put it all together right away. Are you in that camp, or do you slightly believe in them more, or do you think that they're just not good?
I just don't think they're good. I cannot stand this team. I've tried to put these pieces together. I've tried to believe in this team. And every year, it's just there's something else. There's some roadblock. There's something there that keeps the Bengals from doing anything successful, anything noteworthy, yada, yada, yada. Let's go through this team. A.J. Green is a very good receiver, one of the best in the game when he is 100% healthy. But we have had questions about whether or not he is 100% healthy. So there's one thing. Tyler Boyd is a really good second receiver. I really like that he got his contract. That's one of the things I will give as a major positive for this team, is that Tyler Boyd is very good. Their offensive line is good in some pieces, not so great in others. I like Billy Price quite a bit, and I like Bobby Hart. There's other pieces that are okay there. Their tight end situation. Tyler Eifert has not been healthy for 5 years. Like, he is a great tight end, but when is he ever healthy? It is the Jordan Reed situation where I'm like, come on now. Like, are you going to play on this team? And I feel bad for him. Don't get me wrong. I like him as a guy. He's probably a very nice guy. But in terms of what this offensive production is going to do, I don't know if I can run it through Tyler Eifert because he's never on the field. C.J. Osma is a good tight end as well. I like what he does. Andy Dalton, the anomaly that is Andy Dalton. I'm not sold on him. I think people really like this guy, and he had a good start to the year, but I don't know if he can be consistent for all 16 games if he's fully healthy. That's my biggest question. Joe Mixon's one of my favorite running backs in the game. This year, I think he's going to have a standout year. He's been doing great the first 2 seasons. I think he'll do even more here in year 3. Defensively, I think they have some standouts. Geno Atkins is still there. He's great. Carlos Dunlap is there. Preston Brown, I think, is quite underrated, but there are some question marks for me, especially in that secondary. I think it's one of the more weaker secondaries in the game for me. Sean Williams, Jesse Bates, William Jackson, B.W. Webb. Like, these are not standout, great, top-tier talents. These are like –
William Jackson is
up there. I like him, but, like, this is not like –
I also think I kind of like Jesse Bates. I think he can have a good season.
To me, I'm just questioning whether or not this is like a standout unit for them, if they're going to bring anything, because I think they have certain talent otherwise. Crazy about. I like Geno Atkins and I like Carlos Dunlap, but other areas like Andrew Billings, like, I don't know, Jordan Willis. This team does not impress me. I think they have good talent. Some areas like Joe Mixon. I brought up their defensive areas as well, but for me, they are a 3-13 team. I think this is one of the bottom teams in the league. They have not impressed me in many, many years. And I do get that they have a new head coach. Thank you for finally firing Marvin Lewis. I've been asking for that for so long. People have been asking that for so long, and he's finally gone. But Zac Taylor has no resume, so I don't really know, if he's got to go in here and put this system together, like, he's so young, and that we're trying to implement the system of the Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan. Well, they're in their 30s. He's got to be a good young head coach, right? He's an offensive mind, right? Nobody knows that. He's like, no, he hasn't done anything. So while there is that speculation, while this could be just a great success, I'm not going to go into a predictions thinking he'll do great. I can't see that yet. That has to take, for me, a couple of years to put that vision out there. So
I will say, though, like with Shanahan and McVay, even though Shanahan hasn't even had the success yet as a head coach for multiple different reasons, McVay and him, they have had previous success where you can point to it and be like, okay, we've seen this happen as coordinators where this makes sense for them to be good head coaches. Like McVay in Washington was very good and elevated that team. And then, of course, Shanahan with Houston, Atlanta, Cleveland, all the teams he was on.
That's what I'm saying. Zach Taylor was just hired because of this contingency of, well, they're the young coaches, so it should work for everybody, right? But it doesn't work like that. These guys had that success, like you said. Zach Taylor was the QB coach for the Rams. It's about the biggest thing that he's accomplished, biggest thing that he's had here. Now he's a head coach of a football team. So,
not trying to say he'll be bad. He could be good. It's just we have no previous proof of where this is going to go.
Right. And as an NFL, when we're doing previews, I don't know how much I can hold on to that. So, yeah, I'm not high on this team. You can hate me all you want there, but I just do not see this team doing well. 3-13, I believe that is tied for the worst record I have here. I don't think I have anybody lower. So, yeah, 4th in the division.
I'm slightly higher on the Bengals, as I typically am, than you are. I think I had them at like 6-10 last year, which I believe is where they finished. I'm usually pretty accurate on the Bengals predictions. For me, this year, I do think they take a step back, not because of their roster or the head coach change, because of the division. This division is extremely difficult. You have to play 6 games. 2 of them are against Cleveland, 2 of them against Pittsburgh, 2 of them against Baltimore. Then you look at the rest of the schedule. You play in Seattle, in Buffalo, in LA against the Rams. You play New England once. You play the 49ers. So it's not an easy schedule whatsoever. I do think possibly in 1 or 2 years, Cincinnati could be a franchise that we're looking at back in the playoffs because they do have talent. Like, this is one of those teams that I feel bad for some of their players. I feel bad for AJ Green. I feel bad for Geno Atkins. I feel bad for Tyler Boyd and Joe Mixon. There's a lot of talent, but there's also some areas of extreme weakness, like the offensive line, which I feel like is one of the worst units in the league. Not a fan of a lot of their players. I like Billy Price and Cordy Glenn. Outside of that, I don't know if even these players are starting linemen. Elsewhere, I think it was a severe disappointment that their first-round pick went down with injury, who was coined to play on this offensive line. So that's huge. Tyler Eifert, is he going to stay healthy, man? I don't know. He's a starting tight end. I don't know if he still has the potential he used to because he's been so banged up. But they do have weapons on offense. So I do believe that this team, more so than other teams that are at the bottom of the NFL, will be exciting because they have AJ Green, they have Tyler Boyd, they have Joe Mixon, they have Tyler Eifert, they have Giovanni Bernard, they have John Ross, who could have a good season here in this offense that I think he'll be better utilized as a downfield threat. But that offensive line will not provide Andy Dalton with enough time to make plays. And Andy Dalton is just average. You're not going to get any better. You're not going to get any worse out of Andy Dalton. He's just average. He is what he is. Defensively, Carlos Dunlap's only getting older, but he's still a pretty good player. And then Geno Atkins is still elite at his position. I think Carl Lawson, this is a big season for him. He was injured last year, had a really good rookie year. I expect big things this year from him. The linebacker position is one of the worst in the league. Preston Brown's a tackler, but not much else. And Jordan Evans and Nick Vigil, these guys are not proven. Drake Kirkpatrick's extremely inconsistent. I like Jesse Bates, as I mentioned. I love William Jackson. There's weaknesses on this defense everywhere. They're probably one of the bottom 5. But again, they have some interesting talent to complement it. So Zach Taylor, we're going to see how great of a head coach he is, not based on the wins or losses, but based on how competitive this team is, how much this team plays for him, how much this team actually he can get out of them. I have this team at 5-11. I don't have them at 3-13 like Dylan. I have them at 5-11. Somebody has to finish last in this division, and it just happens to be the Bengals. I do believe they'll be in the top 10 picking. I think they would be somewhere around, in my head right now, 7th or 6th. So they're not like the worst team in the NFL because they have too much upper echelon talent to be the worst team, but they are amongst the group of the worst teams. Sorry. Gronk, spike the like button, subscribe to Bottom Line View for more NFL videos just like this. If you enjoyed, again, Gronk, spike it. Comment below your opinion. It's been Mitch and Dylan of the Bottom Line View. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Peace.